Welcome back to All Politics of Local America's
Number
political
one.
hip hop radio talk show. Hey, listen, y'all, we're going to go live now to the Essence Music Awards out in New Orleans,
Nolans.
Louisiana, and it's called
25
Nolans,
years.
right?
Yes.
Yeah, man.
Our first black cultural capital. Let's
And
get it right.
and of course, we got our two hosts that are out on the line. We got Councilwoman Donna K. Williams, the world traveler. We got John Austin, who's also a world traveler.
On
Both
location.
of our co-hosts on location. So we're gonna talk to them right now, and we're gonna see what's going on out in New Orleans with the Essence Music Awards. What's going on, y'all?
Hello, hello, hello.
How are ya?
What's going on? Wow, it's 105. It was 105 degrees down here today.
Y'all turning it up? Y'all making it hot down there? Y'all making it hot down there?
Look, you don't have to make it high. You just gotta show up. The heat is already here.
And his was funny about that, Brother Hackins, Zaid, and Donna and John. Black folks used to work in that heat, brother.
That's right. Sun up to
The
sun
sun
down.
up to sundown.
See the KC. That's
Yeah.
right.
And we
For
dealing
hundreds of years.
and Brother Hack, we dealing with people that don't want to pay us reparations.
That's right. We're going to change the game on that. The time has come.
Ain't that something?
Yes, sir.
So Donna, why don't you tell us what's going on? What's happening down there?
So this is the 25th annual vote that is held every year down in Portland, with the exception, I believe, for 1 year, and that was right after Katrina, where they relocated to Houston. And it was funny because yesterday I talked to some Houstonians, I guess I would call, and they said that when they brought the Essence Fest to Houston during the relocation, as they were had found the perfect home in New Orleans.
Mm. And it's not at
I'm sorry.
it's not at the dome no more though, right?
So this is I've been on for 10 years now. So back in 2009, I had desired to come to Essence Fest for a couple of years prior to that. And, you get a group together and manifest. So me and my nephew jumped in the car in 2009 and we trekked down here and drove all the way down New Orleans. So this is the 10th year I've been coming, and ever since that first time, I've just been coming every year. It's almost like, if you will, for a weekend, a black utopia.
I like that Black Utopia thing.
So what's some of the things you've seen down there so far this time? Who's done that?
So this year, so what Rampart Street is where Louis Armstrong Park is. And that street was really, that was one of the first streets I stayed on when when I came here. And it was really disconnected. I stayed at a bed and breakfast over there with my cousin, who's a vendor here. And you had to walk all the way over to the Riverwalk where the convention center is. But however, this year, they started on July 4th, on Rampart in Louis Armstrong Park, and they had a free, if you will, a concert in the park where Common and New Orleans own Big Frida, they all participated, and they just had, two different stages with a concert right in Louis Armstrong Park, where also Congo Square is a part of Louis Armstrong Park, so it has its own history there. Congo Square, as I was reading up, is an area during slavery where slaveholders used to let slaves congregate and just have a day of music and festivities. And so that's right there. So it moved across town, and so it's all the way from Rampart all the way throughout the city. So it's really a big to do, and it's growing every year. So I'm happy to see that.
And let me ask you a question, Donna. Are there any lectures going on down there? Any speakers?
Oh yeah. So let me just pull up. It is.
Well, the candidates start coming through tomorrow.
So I'll tell you one of the. Yeah, exactly. The candidates. 5 of the candidates will be here tomorrow. as we know that this the African American vote and the women's vote in particular is not to be taken lightly. So yeah, private candidates to include Elizabeth Warren, Cory Booker, Kamala Harris, Mayor, I can't pronounce Buttigieg, he'll be here, and I'm missing and Joe Biden, they'll be here tomorrow.
Beto O'Rourke is supposed to be there also, right?
And so maybe Joe Biden, I take Joe Biden out, maybe that's Beto O'Rourke, his person, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Joe need to
So
be
you
there.
asked about, so Mayor, so you asked about different roundtables. So Mayor Latrell had a roundtable today. Every year, Al Sharpton has a roundtable, and he has a stage where he brings up different keynote speakers, and he does an interview right in the convention hall. The governor did a welcome address today. There's so much. Are you familiar with Bevy Smith?
No.
Okay, so Bevy Smith is the air personality. She's doing a round table.
Oh, you mean Bev Smith? You mean Bev Smith?
Bevy. This is Bevy Smith. This is
Oh.
a young sister from the city. It was a round table today empowering our community to overcome multi-generational financial inequality. I'll tell you, there was a discussion about domestic violence today. Kim Coles and Valerie Jarrett did a round table. So yeah, it's a lot of them.
What about around hip hop? Any hip hop panels or anything like that?
We just had a hot discussion with Congressman Payne chiming in on his own take on the matter, and that is hip hop. It was a rich discussion. Yeah, and the congressman get down on who his favorites were.
Yeah, I think
that's right. That's the segue to that question, Don. I got to give you that.
All right, let me give you some of the afternoon sessions. It was Black Minds Matters, Change Your Mind, Change Your Life, 4 steps to pre-program your mind. And then there was one called The Black Effect, How Our Culture Dictates What's Next from Creation to Consumption. So and I'll keep going from, so I think there is a big hip hop, and of course, Donna Brazile spoke today too for Girls who have considered politics. So let me just see. Let's go until tomorrow. Upstairs is in the hip hop. But I want to say, I think there's big old school hip hop. W Fresh and MC Light and them are doing an event tonight. So I think that hip hop is just a standard part of what goes on.
Right, but I was wondering if there was any panels, where you talk about something like the state of hip hop, or when we start talking about,
future, that's right. Yeah.
So we have somebody from the DNC. Her name is Wakinya calling in. So give me a second. Let me bring Wakinya on the line. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay.
So, hey, listen, let me say, by the way, to all y'all watching and listening around the world, and of course, locally here in the state of New Jersey, we want to welcome our brother to my right. Well, he's a heavyweight, but he come in a lightweight body. Throwing hard punches to the body, weigh about $120. But he throw Muhammad Ali punches at you. And of course, he's the local minister here, our brother. Well, let me just say our beloved brother.
Yes.
Brother Minister Abdul Haq Muhammad.
Right.
From mosque number 25, one of the most powerful mosques in the Nation of Islam.
Very young, healthy mosque.
And got one of the baddest young ministers that got long life.
Man. That's right.
He got long life. He's so young. He's gonna be long living.
NOI.
And so want to welcome Brother Haq to the mic. Want to say what's up to the people, brother?
Peace. Thank you, Brother Ed, for such a heartwarming welcome. It's definitely appreciated. Thank you for having me here, brother.
Hello?
Yeah,
we hear you.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. So I have Wakinya J.S. Planton from the DNC, and she's the senior advisor to the chairman of the DNC. Kenya, you're on All Politics and Local, and our executive producer, Ed Riley and Jonathan Alston are also on the line. So, Kenya, do you just want to introduce yourself? Sure. Hi, everyone.
Hello there.
Hello.
On this call. Hi. How's everyone doing?
We're doing great. How are you?
Good. Having a fabulous time.
Well, you just missed one of your colleagues, Congressman Donald Payne Jr. just went off. He just did his show. You just missed him.
Yes, sir.
Oh, really?
Yeah. He was just in the building.
It is called the Payne Report.
Yeah. So.
No, the congressman has been doing incredible work in DC. He's doing a lot to help make sure that we are doing right by the people of our community. So we're really, really grateful to have him stepping in, filling the shoes of his father, who was just, just a line amongst leaders in Washington. So we're really super grateful to have him as a part of the CDC, but also as a value member of the Protect Party. So super excited to have to know that I just missed him. But I'll see him probably next week or so.
Yeah. Well, let me ask you a question while we got you on the line. You know, first off, I want to say big shout out to all of y'all for supporting, reparations and, getting, some of your colleagues on the other side, of the wall over there. I won't even call it, well, that's what it is, because, everything over there is being stonewalled. But congratulations to you all, for taking a stand with Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee for the whole thing around reparations. Congratulations to y'all.
No, and we're also grateful for the Congresswoman and all of her work. The reparations fight for Black people has been an ongoing fight. I think it was Congressman John Conyers who used to lead that fight for so many years. I think he introduced
HR 40. That's right. Long time ago.
Yeah, every year that he was in Congress. And I think, I'm grateful for those conversations, happening again now, and to have had Congresswoman Sheila Jackson Lee lead that incredible work in the United States House of Representatives, and actually getting us talking about the issue is way beyond past due. I think it is something that is needed to ensure economic parity in this country, and so I'm looking forward to see how far we get along with it.
Well, we want to thank you, sisters. I said. Go ahead, Donna.
So, Kenya, you guys down here, you are on task, and you're on task down here, and you're doing a hashtag seat at the table. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about your project? Why you specifically at the Essence Fest? Sure, absolutely. And thank you again, Donna, for the opportunity. So last year, the DNC created a tour called Seat at the Table, and it was designed to actually organize and engage with Black women across the country. We went to over 40 different cities last year, and we engaged with over 3,000 Black women across this country who really put all of their feet to the fire, who hit the ground running and helped us organize locally and helped us ensure that we won Democratic seats up and down the ballot. As a result, we welcomed some amazing new women and new leaders, Black leaders to Congress. And so we're super excited for the 9 new members of the CDC we were actually able to welcome in 2018, and that was largely due to the outstanding work of Black women. We were able to regain the U.S. House of Representatives, largely also due to that work. And so this year we're here at Essence. We were at Essence last year as well, to kind of getting the tour kicked off and making sure folks knew that we were out here. But this year we're back and we're vending in the convention center to help support the work that we're doing to provide organizing grants to organizers across the country who are doing work in the Black community. So that's a big part of the expansion of our tour. This year, we're looking to draw as much support and as much attention as possible to the work that we're doing to highlight the work of the people who've been organizing in Black communities for a long time. We really thought that we needed to transition from just talking and listening
to actually putting some support behind the work of organizers out here on the ground. And so that's why we created the Table Organizing Grant Program. And we're looking to increase our ambassador program. So we're looking to recruit Black women to join and help us, one, grow our base and also grow our work. So we are encouraging folks to text the word SEAT, that's SEAT, to 43367. That's going to allow them to be a part of that ambassador network. We'll make sure they get plugged in and they receive all the organizing tools they need to be successful as we head into this 2020 election cycle.
Can you repeat that number a little slower, please?
Sure. Sorry. Text the word SEAT, that's SEAT, to the number 43367. We are, again, my colleagues and I are on the ground here in New Orleans trying to make sure that we're engaging with as many people as possible and getting more folks into that queue so that we can, be able to build this invincible army of Black women leadership that are going out and engaging communities nationwide.
Well, one of the questions I got for you, my sister, and I know this might be a big question, but I think you can handle it. How important, and I know that Black women basically carried the Democratic Party on their backs. How important, though, is it in 2020 for our community to come out and vote? How important is that?
I would arguably say that it is more important now than ever. We have some real things at stake. Not in just the 2020 elections, but also in 2019. There are races happening across the country that we need to make sure that our community is engaged in. The Democratic Party is hosting, we agreed to host 12 different debates. We're doing 6 this year, and we're doing 6 next year ahead of the 2020 election. That's prime time. That's a prime time opportunity as well for us as Black people to get our friends and our families together to ensure that we are tuned in and that we are paying attention to the issues and that we're holding people accountable as it relates to the issues. That's what I'm looking forward to, as well as making sure that folks are engaged and they know why they're voting. And we move beyond voting for a person and we vote for the issues that matter most to our community. Because at the end of the day, no matter how the cards may fall, one of the things that the chairman says, and we kind of all have a confidence, fall in love with as many people as you want to. Right? But once we get a nominee in 2020, fall in line. We have no time. We can't afford it. Our country is in crisis. Our world is in crisis. We have a series of pressing issues from, criminal justice reform to environmental injustice to the climate crisis that we're enduring with right now. Probably one of the hottest summers that we've experienced in a long time. You're seeing food security become food insecurity becoming more and more of a problem for Black and brown communities. And so we have to really start focusing back on the issues that matter most to people. And we have to start, not even just start, but continue prioritizing people over politics. And I think at the end of the day, that's the message that I want our community to understand, is that we as the Democratic Party have transitioned from just talking to folks every 3rd October before an election. We are actually really concentrating on making sure that we are talking to people year round, engaging folks year round about issues that matter most to them. That's really the culture. That's the new culture of the DNC.
I think that's a hashtag, people over politics.
I like what you said about the ambassador program. But can you explain more about how do people become a part of it, and what do they learn when they become a part of it?
Okay, sure. So the easiest way, I think, for your listeners to get involved with the Sit at the Table Ambassador Program is actually 3 ways they can do it. So they can text the word SEAT, that's SEAT, to 43367, or they can email me at the word SEAT, SEAT, at dnc.org to get more information. Or if they're on Facebook, they can join our Sit at the Table Ambassadors Facebook group. It's a closed private group. It is curated specifically for Black women. to give us the safe space and the space that we need to connect with each other, Black women, and to talk about our issues in ways that are important to us, right? In ways that we understand and in ways that we want to. Like, we control the narrative in that group, we control the messaging in that group. And so all the content is curated by the women who are part of that group. So all of the ambassadors can weigh in, they can share stories, they can activate each other around issues that they need. So it's a real big community network, and we reach over 2,000 women.
Hey John, you know what I want to do real quick. I want to bring Brother Minister Abdul Haq into this discussion, based around what Sister just said. When I said how important was the vote, based around 2020, and then she mentioned 2019. One of the things that Minister Farrakhan said a couple of weeks ago, Brother Haq, when he was talking about, we could take over a certain number of states, right? When I said how important voting was. And so when she talks about 2019, and we look at some of those states, right, around the country where we can organize our people and take over the governor's house, the mayor's house, and those kind of things, in terms of being able to look at where, we might have the most leverage in terms of being able to get things. Because I hear Reverend Jesse Jackson Jr. says this all the time. He talks about how important it is, not because, of course, all politics are local, but, he talks about, what happens on a federal level, but also paying attention very closely to what's happening on a local level. What's your thoughts on that?
Well, the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan, like his teacher before him, the Most Honorable Elijah Muhammad, has always advocated for independence for Black man and woman of North America in particular. For we have always had a high level of dependency on white benevolent politicians. We always look to them to do for us what we can do for ourselves. He has taught us that politics without economics is symbol without substance. We have always had, I would say, what appears like political power, but we've always been economically weak. So when the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan talks about us having these particular states, 8 to 10, which the Honorable Elijah Muhammad advocated for years,
right,
having 8 to 10 states of our own, I believe that he meant that we can vote and ultimately have some leverage, the governor's house, the mayor's house, these various positions. But I think more so he's speaking from a standpoint where we would have these particular states given to us, you understand, where we would, be our own independent, of course we would do trade and things like that, but not so much being under this current political system, because it is corrupt.
Right.
It has always been corrupt, and that's what Black people in particular have been fighting and are fighting. We are fighting the corrupt system. So the minute that they gave us the right to vote, they begin to do little things, and they're still doing things today to take the right to vote back. So we are still fighting in the South.
Right. With gerrymandering.
Yeah, those tricks and schemes and the various machinations that the Democrats and Republicans have played on us. So we have always had to fight just to vote. And once we got the right to vote, they was trying to take it away from us. We know that the Caucasian entered in over 400 treaties with the Native Americans, but they broke every promise. So all suspicion as it relates to this political system is reasonable. You understand? We are not suffering from a delusion of persecution where we are just paranoid, where we don't trust this current political system because it is corrupt. And it's a political system that the Honorable Minister Louis Farrakhan has said that really can't be fixed. Right. It has to be destroyed. Now, I know that may seem extreme, but the book that we believe in, Bible and Quran, says, behold, Allah, God makes all things new. You understand? So the minister says that we are in it, but we can't be of it. Right. And we got to try to get all that we can get out of it. But in doing that, a lot of times it's like a Punic victory. We lose so much, you understand, in the fight of trying to, yes, sir, I'm sorry.
We're still voting, all right?
I mean, yeah, we definitely, Congress is important. I'm not saying it's not, but we need Congress and we need an egress. You understand? We need Congress and we need an egress route out.
Right. But you know what? Yeah. No, what I was gonna say, while getting you on the phone, one of the things that
That's why you always ask me, because I do
is and I wanna Joaquin, one of the things that has I can't think of the word right now, but has just kind of refreshed me is Ocasio and who's the Muslim sister that just got elected to Congress? Her name.
They have two, Tiab and Omar.
Yeah.
Omar's been the one on the fire.
Ilhan Omar.
Yeah, Congress Omar. I was just listening to her, and her, you know, her honesty when she was talking about us representing people and what we're fighting for. And I want to say with this new class of women that have come in, is a sense of refreshing, is that they're not tainted, if you will, by being politically correct. They're going in there to do the work. And one of the things that a lot of elected officials forget is that you're only elected for a period of time. And people go in there like they got all the time to do the work. But they have gotten in there with, you know, with their running and doing the work. And that's what I'm very impressed with. And we cannot forget that this is only for a season. And ever since they have come out to vote, they have been attacked. Even what Minister Hopkins said, they have been attacked from within and from without.
Yeah, about that.
So it's very important that we vote, that we support, that we stay engaged, because my God, and we only know about stuff that the media reports about how they're being attacked.
This is true.
We don't know about the phone calls that are coming to their homes,
The
to
death
their
threats.
chambers, and things like that. So we have to surround them, and we have to make sure, because sometimes we think that once we got somebody elected, the work is finished. No, that's not true. We have to stand there to make sure that their bills get passed, that the initiatives get through. It's a day in and day out work, and that's something. And when going back to 2008 to 2012, that's one of the first things that we forgot. We was like, "Ooh, we got a black man elected," but then we forgot to do the work after he got elected.
I'm proud to say that right here. Go ahead, John.
Leave it in the few, right? But
Yes, Joaquin, yes, go ahead.
Joaquin, when you were talking about the ambassador program, and you talked about how to join, but I'm curious about what do people learn? What does that mean? Do they do voter registration? Do they organize in the community? Like, what are the skill sets that the DNC is trying to teach for people to be
So we do a couple of different things. So we do an organizer training 101. We teach them how to talk to people. Could someone go? Let me put go ahead. Okay, thanks. Sorry. So they learn a couple of different things. So we give them so what you have to realize is most black women in particular, already are organized. We've been doing this work for a long time. So we just give them a refresher on how to talk to people, how to host, for instance, how to host a debate watch party. We give them a full toolkit to give them all the tools, all the talking points, all the messaging. We give them sample features, sample posts, so that they can amplify things on their social medias. We give them a couple of tips around how to talk, what is an organizer, basically. So we help them identify 5 family members, 5 community leaders, 5 church members, 5 sorority sisters, 5 college alums. We help them build out their network. We help them think about how they build out networks differently. Because most of the time people are like, oh, I don't know anybody. But the reality is, yes, you do. You actually know a lot of people. If you were to go through your phone and identify 5 family members, 5 church members, 5 fraternities or sorority members, 5 business leaders, or 5 local businesses that you know of in the community, or 5 people you go to the hairdresser with, that's anywhere from 25 to 30 people right there. Just off of your day-to-day interactions with people. So we help them think through who your network is and who needs to be engaged. What can you do? And what can you? I don't mean to interrupt you, but it sounds like, do they have to be in a certain place, or is the teaching done remotely? Do they have to convene on weekends? No, they can be anywhere. So a part of what we do with our ambassador group, we have that open dialogue. So we use that anywhere we can reach a person, we reach a person. We host webinar trainings. In fact, we have one coming up on June the 10th. If folks are interested in that, they should email speak@dnc.org, and I can send them the link for them to register. But that one's going to focus on voter engagement and voter protection. So, you know, how to become the stuff you can do to become a poll watcher, precinct worker. Like, we're giving all of that. We engage the full gamut of getting folks involved in civic engagement. So whether it is volunteering locally on a campaign or your state party, or volunteering with us to just talk to folks about what we're doing, or hosting a debate watch party. We have toolkits that we send out to them, and we actually give them the tools that they need to really be successful in this work. And we also connect them with entities who are doing work like voter registration. So that's really, really important to the work that we've been doing.
So is this kind of like what Obama did, like the Obama Organizing for America, that organization that just trained a lot of leaders all over the country in 2008?
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much. We're just like taking people who are, there's a lot of energy out here. There's a lot of energy out here. And what we really made a concerted effort around is harnessing that energy and making sure we do it in culture and in language. Like, that is so important for folks. When we talk about organizing Black people, it's not just Black Americans. You have a huge concentration of Black immigrant communities, from Africans to Haitians. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. And so making sure that we are talking to people about things in the way that they understand them, and make sure we're training organizers who can speak to, who understand the community, one, but also speak the language and understand the people and what they need. That's super, super important. And we even go beyond just what I'm doing with Seat at the Table. We also do that with our Organizing for 2020 program, which is 94% homegrown. So that means everybody who's a part of that program is organized in the state in which they live or go to school. And that is super, super important because, again, I'm from Mississippi. So to send me to Vermont, you know, that might not come out as well as we want it to. You have to have people who understand the communities that they are from organizing, because it's about trust. People vote for you for 3 reasons. They need you, they know you, they like you. And for Black people, for us, it is so important to have people who we know, because that's a trust factor for us. You know, like, I'm not going to be as welcoming or just as interested in hearing with someone who doesn't come from my community, doesn't understand the culture where I live, doesn't understand what they need to say in order to be and engage me. You know, it's personal. All politics are personal. Yes, they are local, but they are also very, very personal. Like, remember, I mean, just really, really understand that, again, people vote for you for 3 reasons. They need you, they know you, they like you. And most of the time, if they don't know you, they can't get to like you. And if they can't get to like you or know you, then they don't even know that they need you. So you got to be able to hit all three of those things in a real way. You know what, Kenya, I know you have to go, but I do have to ask you this question. You know, when, and coming from Mississippi, and I told you I happened to go down there, did a project with Karen Hunter and a voter registration project. And with the number of African Americans in Mississippi, the leadership, we still don't always have the leadership down there. So would you attribute that to basically what you just said? They need to know you, love you, and we're not getting that across? Because in our Black communities, when I hear people are still coming out for this gentleman at the White House now, it just amazes me. And, you know, and I can't understand because, and forget, you know, his agenda is totally different from what I might see in a poor Black community. Like, what would you attribute to that? But, well, you got a couple of things that affect that. One, you have gerrymandering. And you look at a state like Mississippi, it is over 744,000 people per congressional district. So that puts you close to about 3 million people. You only have 1 Democrat and 1 Black person representing majority of the state, a significant part of the state. Mostly all the Black people who live in the state live between 1 or 2 districts, 1 or 2 congressional districts. and that's because of gerrymandering. In coming into the 2010 census, I believe, we lost, before the 2000 census, we lost a congressional seat. Population is the same, but representation changed because of gerrymandering. Until we take a surgical approach to how we look at engaging elections, we're going to always be on the losing end of things. Because when you look at the other side, they penetrate at every single level of government, from your city council all the way through your judicial system, right, through your federal judicial system. So you look at your state representatives, and they're all coming from these places that have been again gerrymandered. Even the state districts have been gerrymandered. Then they go in and get these maps that are biased, that are culturally insensitive. You put 774,000 Black people on one member of Congress to represent all of the Black people. And actually, all the Black people in the state call that one member of Congress because that's what they know. Right. Wow. You know, that's crazy. That is actually very, very crazy. But until we get smarter about how we do politics, politics isn't just election day. Politics is a system. Politics is your community meeting. Politics is showing up at these commissioner meetings and making sure that you're weighing in and seeing who's going to serve on your school board, because they're going to affect how your children learn and how they don't learn. Right? So meaning what they learn and what they don't learn. So if you look at private schools, they're still teaching civics in one way or another to those students. People in public schools don't get the same curriculum, which means they already start out at politically disadvantaged. Because the base knowledge of how systems work isn't being afforded to children who come from underprivileged communities. But that is a problem to have at the school board level. And if we aren't engaged in school board elections, if we aren't choosing our leadership at every level of government, we are failing our community over and over and over again. And we keep looking at other people, but we have a job to do. Our job is voting, and our job is accountability. And when we vote and we still can't get the accountability, then our job is to run. We have the ability to be the change that we seek. We just have to take the opportunity to actually activate that.
Well, I think.
We continue to be relying on other people to come and save us. It is our job to do it. And that's moving beyond just voting. It is showing up. If you don't have kids in the school system, and I'm not saying this, I'm going to let y'all get back to it, but this is a place where I'm really, really passionate about. If you don't have children in the school system, but your neighbor does, and your neighbor has worked 2 or 3 jobs and can't afford to go to those school board meetings, you should go and be in here. Because at the end of the day, those kids come back to your community, and you have a responsibility to your community. It takes a village. That didn't just mean raising the child, it means showing up for them as well. So we have to rethink the way that we engage politically in our community, and we have to stop giving our power away.
Well, I think I definitely agree with everything you just said, particularly as it relates to locally. But Donna, we got one more question to ask. Of course, we out of time. We got.
Okay. But before y'all get to that question, I was just, you were going to say things, the very thing, it does take a village, and the Supreme Court question that they sent back to the local states about gerrymandering and stuff like that. So Kenya, I have your number, so we'll come back and speak to you more often between the next election we have in Jersey, which is November 2019, and the different debates coming up. So you will be a friend to all politics. So go ahead, guys, with the question.
One more question. Kenya, who is your favorite hip-hop artist, individual or group?
Man, I just had this question, and they gave me 5, and 5 wasn't enough. I would say, okay, I was born in the 80s. I was raised in the 90s. So I'm going to go my best hip-hop, my favorite hip-hop group is Salt and Pepper.
Salt and Pepper. Salt and Pepper.
They were a big help to us in the Million Youth March classes, Kevin. So we all remember that.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming out, and definitely we'll have you back on the show.
Absolutely. Thank you all so much for having me.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Thank you. Be blessed. I'll see you tomorrow. Okay. See you tomorrow.
Hey, Donna, man, that's what seems like it's fun. It's all loud and nice. Which I was
Yeah, people screaming in the background while my sister was talking.
Yeah, guess who walked past me while y'all were talking to our Kenya?
Who was that?
All the guys that love this. Selma.
Oh yeah. From the good times.
Yes.
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 Yeah. She just walked by me, yeah.
Bernadette Stannis, that's her name.
Good.
Yeah. She just walked by me.
Well, listen, y'all. Y'all know we out of time. We rolling into the DJ Rhino mix time. So I want to thank y'all for definitely tuning in, and we want to thank y'all for chiming in live. John, of course, you out there in Colorado, and definitely you down at the Essence Festival.
Yep.
Okay, thank you guys.
So thank you, man. So thank you, and talk to y'all later. And DJ Rhino,
Talk to you later. Okay.
All right, talk to y'all later.
Right
All right. Well, there y'all have it, y'all. Of course, y'all know that that was Councilwoman Donna K. Williams and Jonathan Alston, both of our co-hosts, out on assignment and bringing us the live report. And so we get ready to go to DJ Rhino mix. And want to ask Brother Hot, since he's in the studio, you got any final words you want to share, my brother?
I just pray that, God Allah will continue to bless us with the courage, the strength, and the insight to do that which is in the best interest of our people, our children, and our unborn generations.
Indeed, son.
You got any words you want to add, Brother Ryan, before we go into this mix? I mean,
wait, no.
I mean, yeah.
Well, let me just say, I was to hear another young voice and to see all these young voices emerging amongst our daughters and our sisters and our nieces is very powerful. And we really need that energy to help bring more younger voices, male and female, to the front lines of our work.